I did not know this, or at least I didn't remember it, but you used to have a fear of public speaking, and now you're on tour and seem very comfortable on stage. Can you talk about your journey from stage fright to where you are now?
Well, so yeah, there was that blog post that got resurfaced, I think, on Reddit that I'd kind of forgotten about. I think I wrote it, I don't know, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. And I think the title is The Silent Crowd. I think that's what it is on my blog. Maybe I should repost it on Substack because people found it useful, I think. Well, obviously, it's a very common fear. And I just had, in this blog post, I give some people fairly concrete advice about how to deal with it. Um, Ironically, I mean, though I think mindfulness is actually quite helpful, I don't think it's sufficient to deal with it for most people. I think it's the crucial bit is to actually just do the thing you're afraid of and get used to it, and cease to catastrophize about it, and to have some better or even just benign outcomes, but after doing it, right? To give a talk and to have it not be a catastrophe, and then to let your nervous system learn across those occasions. I think that's better than simply hoping that you're going to meditate or do talk therapy or anything else in the absence of just doing more of that thing you're afraid of. So something like cognitive behavioral therapy is probably still the gold standard for this, where you have strategies for reframing the experience itself and approaching the experience itself. And um, yeah, no, it was something that I always was very anxious about, and it was. I mean, it wasn't a huge variable in my life, but I was avoiding it. As a student, I was avoiding it. I was um, I was the valedictorian of my high school, and as the valedictorian, you have to give a talk at graduation, and so I declined the honor of being a valedictorian. I just said, "No, I'm not doing that." And there was, several instances like that where I just passed up the opportunity to speak because I didn't want to have to pass through this wall of anxiety on the way to the event. And it wasn't until I was in graduate school, which was a good long while because I went to graduate school late. So I was in my early 30s. I realized I had to get over this, and especially with the release of my first book, I had to get over it. Right, there's just no way to be a successful author except for the extreme case of just becoming a man of mystery somehow that people who still want to read. Somebody like J.D. Salinger or Trevanian or Thomas Pynchon. But most authors need to get out there in front of crowds and talk about the fact that they just wrote a book, and most publishers would demand that of them. So I knew that was coming with my first book, and so I just had to get behind myself and push, and very quickly got over it. And I had some very high stakes appearances out of the gate. I mean, like the truth is, I still haven't done that much public speaking. This is the first tour I've done in like 6 years, as you know. In my first couple events, so I was in situations where it was going to be like a televised debate, so the stakes kind of ramped up pretty quickly, but in the end, it was fine. And now, as you know, I simply complain about the fact that the auditorium isn't full. I mean, I just, my concern is that I just get more people in the seats. So things have flipped nicely, but it is there are not that many tangible experiences of self-overcoming where the thing you are most avoidant of is the thing that you actually sort of like doing now. I mean, to be able to flip one of those is psychologically empowering, and this is one that's pretty easy to do. And anyway, in that blog post, I get into some more concrete recommendations for people.
And is it gone now? Does it ever, come back? Any sort of pre-show jitters?
It's gone in the sense that, well, I think I have like physiological arousal that is sort of akin to anxiety before an event, but I just perceive it as energy now. I mean, this is kind of just a reframing of anxiety that is available to anyone. You can notice that anxiety is fairly indistinguishable physiologically from excitement, and apart from your thoughts about it, about what the thoughts you're using to frame it, and you can just kind of grab the reins of your mind and reframe it. You can just decide to think about the fact that you actually just care how this event goes. You want to do a good job. You know, in this case, people paid for tickets. They took a night out of their lives to come and see me. I care that they have a good time or find it valuable. Um, so if I feel any energy, any energy that's like anxiety, it really feels that I actually just care, and that I have a stake in this. The experience has been flipped for me. It's pretty nice to have
Yeah.
flipped it that way.
I used to, before I'd go on stage, I would imagine that I had just gotten off stage and was very disappointed in my performance. And now I get a chance to go back up there.
Mm,
And how would I do that now?
that's a nice reframing. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very yeah. That seems. I mean, that could apply to many situations,
Yeah.
right? Just
Well,
any. So yeah,
whatever it was, now I'm a manager. So it didn't work out. It didn't work out
very
too well for me.